Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Bryndís. Today we're doing a book haul, the last book haul for me until Christmas. Now you would be forgiven to think like, what? Why? No! But yes, I need to go on a book buying ban. I need to stop buying books that I haven't read, that I don't know if I'm going to enjoy, and just like save money and just like understand that I live in a tiny apartment. I don't have space. I need to stop. I need to stop. Stop, 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 stop in the name. Yeah, I need to stop. So, these books that I bought in the last couple of weeks, a few weeks, are going to be the last books that I buy until Christmas. At Christmas, I love to buy myself books, usually new releases, Icelandic crime thrillers or crime fiction, and maybe some others as well. But so that's gonna be, I'm gonna be allowed to do that. But apart from that, I don't need more books. And if there's like a book coming out that is like calling to me, I will just have to get back to using the library. That's not, if it's not an audiobook that I can get through my audiobook app. So the reason for why I need to stop buying books is because it's fine to buy books if you have some kind of plans or stuff like that, but a lot of these books were just pure impulse buys, and I am very much like extreme, like all or nothing. I cannot do moderation. I don't understand the word moderation in basically any part of my life. Whatever I've done, I've always gone way deep in, and often way more in than I needed to be, and just because that's just my personality, I think. So that's why I'm gonna go on a no buying ban, book buying ban, because I've tried the low buy, the slow buy, all of those things. They just don't work for me. But I'm very happy that I have these books. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited about them. I will read them, I hope. But I have so many books I haven't read. It's gonna take me like 3 years, I think, to read all of them. So yeah, but no more like kicking myself in the butt. Let's talk about the books I bought. So I kind of put them into a couple of categories. So I have one nonfiction, then I have like contemporary books, I have fantasy and like magical realism books, and then classics. So I'm gonna start with the one nonfiction that I bought. Yeah, I've already shown you this book in another video, but it's The Wager by David Grant. So this is nonfiction about a shipwreck in the 1700s, and a tale of shipwreck, mutiny, and murder. I'm probably gonna I probably will already have read it when you see this video, because it's on my March pile of possibilities, and it's like next in line of the books of the because I don't have this as an audiobook, so I need to read it physically, but it's next in line. I'm almost done with the book I'm reading now before this, and then there's this one I will finish. I should finish in March, hopefully. Hopefully I will love it as much as I think I will. So I'm very excited about it. I don't think I'm gonna be able to like tell you everything about all the books, because that would take too much time, but just it's a story of people surviving, I think, or not surviving, who knows. But that's my nonfiction. And now I have some contemporary, or like books by contemporary authors. First one is Fredrik Backman's People, Anxious People, in the Icelandic translation. I've only read one book by Fredrik Backman, but it had such a big impact on me that I now want to read all of his books. I do own Grandma Says Sorry or something, and Bear Town, the first book in the Bear Town trilogy, And I've been looking for the other two books in the Beartown trilogy, and I haven't been able to find it. And at this bookstore, they had this book, so I just grabbed it. I'm not seeing his books in the thrift store here in Iceland. At least not in the Icelandic translation, and not in any or in the Swedish. I could probably read it in Swedish, but I prefer to read it in the Icelandic translation. So anxious people. I hear that it's quite kind of anxious, this book, emotionally heavy. So I don't know, I may not get to it until after I finish my PhD, because my brain is just too fried at the moment. But in the next couple of years, I'm pretty sure I will read this, and I look forward to that. Anxious people. And then we have a couple of Maggie Farrells. These were impulse buys. I mean, I've been wanting to read these books for sure. I've seen them on BookTube for a while now. And so Hemnet won the Women's Prize for Fiction in 2020, and The Marriage Portrait was shortlisted for the Women's Prize in 2023. So these are good books, I'm pretty sure. So Hemnet is, I think, the story of Hemnet, who was the son of Shakespeare. And when he gets I'm not quite sure. Something about, someone dying or something like that. So it's and I love historical fiction. I love the Tudor period, early modern England. And so this is exactly up my alley. And so is the Marriage Portrait, which is also in that era of the 16th century. And this is actually Lucrezia, who is Italian. Yeah, so it's in the Italian Renaissance. So that's also a period or place of time as well that I'm fascinated with. So I am 99.9% confident that I will love these, and these will be 5 stars. These are 5-star predictions for me for sure, because they're just exactly what I'm looking for in historical fiction. So I'm very happy that I own them, but I wish I hadn't bought them until I had already read them to know for sure that they are. Books are expensive here in Iceland. Then I have a book that I found at my bookstore and it made me very happy. So this is The Secret of Heartwood Hall by Katie Lumsden. So if you don't know, Katie Lumsden has a channel here on YouTube. It's called Books and Things. She's probably my favorite booktuber. She does a lot of classics, talks a lot about classics, but also about historical fiction, and is herself an author of 2 published books so far, I think, both of them historical fictions. So this is kind of a gothic mystery that takes place in the Victorian era, and I'm very happy for her to see that this book was in a bookstore in Iceland, in Reykjavik. So that's pretty cool, I think. And I really look forward to buying this. So I'm happy that I bought this book. I'm definitely not regretting buying this book. And then another book, which is kind of like contemporary, maybe even modern classics. I have no idea what time period these people were writing, but it's best Canadian short stories is called. And I have no idea who chose these and said that these are the best, but that's what it says, best Canadian short stories. I never read Canadian literature. I mean, I don't read a lot of North American literature in general, but Canadian, I don't even know if I've ever read anything by a Canadian author. So it will be fun to dive into this. And I do enjoy good short stories. I think that they are often a very good way to get into a genre or an author or something like that. So I'm excited to read these books. Like I said, I have no idea about anything about these people or what this is about. I mean, obviously it's several different authors, and several different short stories. I don't even know how many. I think there are quite a few here. Yeah, there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 short stories in this volume. So might be something that I will look into reading for shorty September. Here we have a pile of fantasy. All of these were not necessary. Maybe one, maybe two of them, but anyway. So in March, I'm reading The Priory of the Orange Tree as my fantasy pick and as my March of the Mammoth pick. And then when I saw this book, I was at the bookstore browsing, which I shouldn't have been doing. And then I saw this book and I just, I haven't even started reading the other one. I have no idea if I'm gonna love it. I think I will. But then I just bought this one. So this is, so The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. So this is the second book in that interconnected thingy. This is the world, I don't know exactly. So this is a prequel to the first book. So it technically happens before that one. But I don't know exactly how they are connected or whatever, but look at this cover. It is so beautiful. I mean, like, it's gorgeous. I have no idea. I'm not gonna look even into what it is about because I want to be surprised. But sounds something like I'm probably gonna enjoy it. I'm not too worried. And then I saw two Brandon Sanderson books that I've actually been seeing around on BookTube. But I had promised myself that I was not gonna buy any Brandon Sanderson until I finished the Mistborn series, which I've done. I finished. Well, I'm in like the last couple of chapters when I'm filming this. I do have plenty of unread fantasy, so, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not sad. I'm very happy that I have these books. So the first one is The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. And I think this is gonna be just a fun read. This is, so a man wakes up in medieval England, has no idea who he is or like where he came from, why he's there. And people are trying to kill him, or maybe they're not trying to kill him, I don't know. Yeah, obviously I'm not gonna read too much about what it's about. I wanna go in a little bit blind. But yeah, I think this is gonna be a fun read. Kind of I don't know if it would be considered a cozy mystery, but I'm excited about it. And then the other one is Tress of the Emerald Sea, which I know that I'm gonna love. Everybody that likes fantasy seems to love this book, so I'm very excited. So this is a Cosmere novel. Again, I'm assuming that it's about Tress and something about an Emerald Sea. So again, I have no idea and I don't want to know. I just wanna read it and enjoy it. I think that this is a standalone, and that it's not. Maybe it is like part of it's part of the Cosmere for sure, but I don't think it's a part of a series or anything like that. But if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, so I really do look forward to reading these two Brandon Sandersons for sure. And then, because the third book in the Emily Wilde series is coming out, I went ahead and I bought the second book. I didn't buy the third book because I thought it wasn't coming out in paperback until next year, but I was wrong. And I found it in my bookstore. So this is the third book. So now I own the entire trilogy and I can read all of them. I'm annoyed that the second book is in a different edition because my first book is like this one. So I should have done a little bit less impulse buying, but I mean, it's fine. A little bit like, my bookshelves are all arranged haphazardly anyway, so it's not gonna be too much of a bother, but it's a little bit annoying nonetheless. So this is, the Emily Wilde series is a series of Emily Wilde, and her academic rival, Bumblebee. Oh my God. Wendell Bumblebee. They are, I think, at Cambridge, and they are studying fae or fairies. And the first book, they went to some Nordic island, which to me was obviously Iceland, but it doesn't say. Studying the fae there. And in the second book, I have no idea, something about a map. And then in the third book, there's something about a compendium. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to I'm hoping to get to this one soon. And I might have finished reading it when this video comes out, we'll see. But I am excited, but a little bit annoyed about the difference in the editions, for sure. And then the last fantasy that I bought is by Susanna Clarke, and it's Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. This edition is so beautiful, but it's huge. It's huge. I love Susanna Clarke. I've read Piranesi last year, and so I'm really excited about reading this book. So this is a fantasy, but kind of based in, so it's like, is it low fantasy if it's like based, because it's based in London or in England. So, or is it magical realism? I don't quite know the difference all the time. So please let me know what this would be considered. Fantasy or magical realism? Or is there like a different type of a name for this genre? But yeah, I don't really know a lot about it, but I've been watching a few people reading it lately, and they are all just like loving it. It's people's favorite book as well. So if Susanna Clarke's writing of Piranesi is any like indicator, I'm definitely going to be loving this one. So I'm quite happy that I have it, but yeah, it's definitely been still, it was kind of like an impulse buy still, and I need to stop buying like that. I need to have more plans. So now we have some modern classics. I think these are all modern classics. So this first book is has quite a little bit of an obscene cover, so I'm gonna cover it. It is The Devils of London by Aldous Huxley. So Aldous Huxley wrote Brave New World, among others. And so yeah, I'm just gonna turn it this way. So basically it takes place in the 1600s in France, and there's a sorcerer, possession by devils, heretical frenzies, all sorts of things going on. And yeah, I think that I have no idea if I'm gonna, this was in the thrift store for like €2, so it's not a big deal, but it was just fascinating because I'd never heard of this book, and it's historical fiction, so maybe I will like it, we'll see. At least I have it here. Then another contemporary modern classic is The Good Soldier Sveik by Jaroslav Hacek. This is a Czech book, and I've seen people talking about this book. I think it was Cam Campbell Reads. Also Debs at Rainer Reads. She was reading this. And so when I saw it at the thrift store, I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna get it. I remember listening to, so this has been turned into a play, and I remember listening to the play when I was younger, when I was a teenager probably, and my parents had even the audio tapes, the cassettes. I remember I was listening to it, and I think it was also on the radio, and it's just hilarious. It's a hilarious book. It's really funny. It's about Sveik, who is drafted into the army of Emperor Franz Joseph of Austria-Hungary, I think, or maybe just Austria, the Emperor of Austria, or Austria-Hungary. I don't know if they were still united at this point, but it's in the early. It was published in the 1920s in like serialized form, and yeah, I think that is just gonna be a fun read, and I look forward to that. And we have here a couple of more uh, modern classics. We have The Little Sister by Raymond Chandler. So this was published, I think, in the 40s or 50s, something like that. And again, I have no idea what this book is about. I do know Raymond Chandler, or the name, so I'm excited about reading this book at some point. But yeah, yes, okay, now I remember. It's Philip Marlowe, the in private. There is like dust in his books. Yeah, so it's Philip Marlowe, who was like is one of the characters that Raymond Chandler created, who was like a famous private investigator. So it's a mystery. So that's gonna be fun, and hopefully I will enjoy it, so I can add it to my mystery shelves. But yeah, The Little Sister by Raymond Chandler, and then we have E.M. Forster's A Passage to India. When was this published? I'm pretty sure that this is 1924, yeah, so it's a modern classic as well. I've seen the movie. I remember seeing the movie many years ago. I don't really think I actually enjoyed it. I think maybe I was too young when I saw it, but it's obviously it's a classic. It's about this young woman. Is she a widow? Who goes? No, she's expecting to marry some man, so she visits India from England to visit the man or something like that, and things happen. So I think this is gonna be a fun, interesting read when I get to it. I also think that after I read The Moonstone, I've started to be really interested in India, and I want to read historical like books about India, like before colonization, because obviously there is a very rich history there, and so I think it's interesting to read English literature that takes place in India, to have that kind of colonial perspective, but I definitely also need to get some Indian literature as well, to get like, you know, local perspectives for sure. But that's gonna be a project for the future, getting to know India a little bit better. But anyway, so the next book is I think all of these are 19th or 18th century classics. So first one we have here, The Vampire. The Vampire by John Polidori and Other Tales of the Macabre. So The Vampire was a short story, a novella that he wrote, and it was at the same time as Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein, and there was like this kind of competition that they were writing for, I think. Yes, a ghost story competition that produced Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So John Polidori worked for Lord Byron, apparently, and his story introduced the vampire into English fiction. So that's very interesting. And then there are other stories here, 13 other stories, or other tales of the macabre, published between 1819 and 1838. So definitely something that I can read next October, or as well for maybe shortly September, or just whenever I want to, basically. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I love vampires. I'm quite fascinated with them, and yeah. And then I have here a Regency book by Anne Radcliffe, The Romance of the Forest. So Anne Radcliffe also wrote the Mysteries of Udolpho and The Italian, which are books that I know heavily influenced Jane Austen. So this is a book that I would love to read at some point in Jane Austen July, and just kind of get to know more about Anne Radcliffe. I haven't read anything by Anne Radcliffe, and I saw this book. I would have preferred if it was The Mysteries of Udolpho, but I will get that later. But I'm still excited about reading this. Oh, I don't know if I can fit these anymore. And then we have Sir Walter Scott, Waverley. This is 18th century. Well, Sir Walter Scott, yeah, he probably wrote it in the 19th century, but it takes place in the 18th century, so it's historical fiction really. And It takes place in the Jacobite rebellion in Scotland. If you watched Outlander, so this is like one of the battles that Jamie was involved in. And yeah, I think that's anyway. Prince, what was his name? Prince Charles Edward wanted to be the king after his half-sister Mary had become queen with her husband William, I think, something like that. So they were fighting over the monarchy or the role of king. And I mean, I would love to read. What was the other book that he wrote that's very famous? I have it on my Ivanhoe. I would definitely want to read Ivanhoe by Sir Walter Scott. But they had this book, so I kind of just bought it because they didn't have Ivanhoe. But I still think it's gonna be interesting. And then I found Candide by Voltaire. I love these old yellow penguin editions. And this is a really fun book. Supposedly this is a funny book. It's very short as well, so that's fantastic. And I don't really know anything about it except that it's quite funny. And yeah, I have no idea really about it except that it's Voltaire. Now we have the last two. Oh, they are both big books. Frances Burney's Camilla. I read Evelina last year and really enjoyed it, and I definitely want to read all of Frances Burney. She has Camilla. I think she also has Cecilia. Maybe other books. So this is huge, though. Oh my God! I don't know when I will get to it, but I think I'm enjoying kind of these late 18th century books. I say 1796, so it's very late 18th century, and I'm really enjoying 18th century literature at the moment. So I kind of impulse bought this huge book. And then the last book that I bought is Charles Dickens' The Pickwick Papers. I want to read all of Charles Dickens, and when I saw this edition, I love the Penguin Classics Black Spine edition. It's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. So when I saw it, I just had to have it, and I definitely want to read this book. I think this is this his? Yes, it's his first novel. It was published in serialized form, like many of his novels, but this is his first, and apparently still one of his bests as well. Yeah, so it's a comic masterpiece that catapulted its 24-year-old author to immediate fame. So there is the poet Snodgrass, the lover Topman, the sportsman Winkle, the quintessential English Quixote Mr. Pickwick, and his Cockney Sancho Panza Sam Weller. Yeah, I think this is going to be a really fun read. I cannot wait to get to it. Yeah, I really look forward to it. So those are the books that I bought. And, you know, I do love the fact that I have them. They are definitely not necessary. And like I said before, I need to be more intentional about the books I buy. Just not even at the thrift store when they're super cheap, because I don't have the space. But also just, you know, we're living in difficult times. You know, you need to be careful with your money, I think. So they bring me a lot of joy. I love my books. But like I said, I'm not going to be buying any more books until Christmas. And I'm just going to write down the books that I see that I think are going to be like very interesting for me. And maybe I can go on a spree next January and then just, you know, do it like that. But we'll see. Have you read any of these books? What do you think of them? Are you trying to stop buying all the books, or don't you care and you just want to continue to buy all the books? Let's have a chat in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.